despite the chaos, the president still won't go to the border. Fentanyl at an all-time high, killing Americans, and he refuses to go to the border. He's been one time in 50 years. One time in 50 years. He's had more dinners with Hunter Biden's foreign business partners than he has going to the border.
I'm sorry, he's had more dinners with Hunter Biden's business partners than he's had times going to the border. Something like that. I'm sure I know what he's trying to say. The Speaker of the House, ironically. Well, happy Friday to you, and welcome back. That was Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, of course, just minutes ago, talking about the open borders and fentanyl deaths. You know, more fatal drug overdoses in a single year in the United States than we had Americans killed in the Vietnam War, the Korean War combined. And you can add the war in Afghanistan and the war in Iraq, and you still don't reach the number of Americans killed in fatal drug overdoses, poisonings. The Chinese are funneling the fentanyl elements to the cartels in Mexico, and they're bringing them into the United States with the help of Joe Biden, who is the cartel's number one sponsor and friend. He's also the number one sponsor and friend of the Ayatollahs in Tehran, who are the number one state sponsors of terror and are dedicated to killing Americans and the Jews in Israel, of course. That's Joe Biden. That's his legacy. That's who he is. If only we had a news media, what would they do? We do have some audio for you that I want to share out of the border. But first, before we get to the border, I want to get back to the hearing yesterday, the impeachment inquiry hearing. A lot of amazing things took place yesterday, and the news media is, of course, burying the story because that's their role. They're Democrats. That's their thing. The Washington Post has a front page every day, and today they have a front page, as you might expect. U.S. warns federal offices, notified shutdown could be imminent. That's like the CNN countdown clock, and here's the Washington Post. And the Democrats play no role in any of this, of course, according to the news media. They couldn't possibly participate in our system of government because they've already set the table. You know, before this debate even started, the Republicans were designated to take the blame for a government shutdown. And honestly, I think if there's a government shutdown coming, enjoy, have a nice time. Workers pay to halt if no funding deal by Saturday. That's tomorrow. Workers pay to halt. That's a funny headline. If no funding deal by Saturday. Workers, they call Americans workers now because they're communists. A Florida motel tells a story of survival in post-disaster America. It's post-disaster America. Many people displaced by Hurricane Ian have not had a recovery. Well, isn't that Joe Biden's fault? Shouldn't that be? I remember when President Trump threw a roll of paper towels in Puerto Rico, and liberals are still talking about it today. But here we are years into the Biden presidency, and they still haven't recovered from Hurricane Ian. But it's not Biden's fault. It's America's fault. That's the thing. Few take step from Medicaid to ACA. That's their other headline. And wedding vendors won case. But wait a minute. Where's the story on Where's the story on the impeachment hearing that started yesterday? Wait, it's not here. Also on the front page, on right, a plot to oust McCarthy as speaker. It's a plot. It's probably an insurrection, something like that. And, of course, quest for genetic data spurs fears of DNA arms race. You know, the Chinese are opening clinics all over America for vaccines, but really they're collecting DNA because they're building biological warfare agents at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and they need more information. Man, and I'm telling you, you can go through the newspaper, and they just don't talk about the impeachment hearing. Debate does little for GOP rivals trying to overcome Trump. Page 2. In Arizona speech, Biden delivers unusual rebuke of Trump. This is where he accuses all Republicans of being here to undermine our democracy and steal democracy because, they're commies. They're, let's face it, they're commies. All right, but, that's the Washington Post. They don't cover the news. They uncover it. That was their slogan for just a minute. And somebody explained to the dimwits there that, like 7-Up is the uncola, you uncover the news. That means you don't cover the news because it's not news, or they're not very bright. They all went to Ivy League schools, though. Let's get back to the audio of from the hearing. Let's go to Congressman Andy Biggs, who is on the side of America. And you see John Fetterman, Lurch, a.k.a. Frankenstein, a.k.a. Boris Karloff. His new smear of people, of Republicans, is Team America. He mockingly refers to pro-American people as Team America, which means he's not on Team America, which means he's anti-American, un-American, a commie, a zombie, a Frankenstein's monster, and a Democrat senator, amazingly, from Pennsylvania. What's the matter with you people in Pennsylvania? You actually voted for this monster? Honestly. And who are you running against? Mehmet Oz, the son of immigrants from Turkey who became a heart surgeon and a professor of heart surgery and a TV star and a friend of Oprah's. And he looks like a movie star. And he lost because the Democrat Party could get a bag of feces elected to the Senate. And that's what they were setting out to prove. And they did it. As Senator Fetterman has just entered the studio. Here's Congressman Andy Biggs, who's on Team America, as Fetterman says disdainfully. Andy Biggs.
The question is, did Hunter talk about how bringing his dad, Joe Biden, either to Ukraine or using his dad as vice president would add value in the eyes of Burisma officials? Answer, yes. How did it come up? He says, well, we were business partners. It just came up. We're business partners. Okay. What kind of leverage was Hunter trying to get by using his dad? Answer by Devin. I think it's more defensive, defensive leverage, that the value is there in his work. Also in this same document, I asked him, I said, the brand, he said, what is it? You keep talking about the Biden brand. I said, is it Dr. Jill? Is it Brother Jim? No. Just looks at me like I'm an idiot. He says, of course it's Joe Biden.
He's talking about testimony under oath from one of the Biden family companies' CEO and longtime friend of Hunter Biden, Devin Archer. That's Devin Archer in testimony explaining all of that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of the leaders of the idiocracy that has taken over Washington, D.C. and America. And she is trying to match wits with Professor Jonathan Turley. AOC doesn't know where her limitations are.
Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not.
Yeah, he's not there as a material witness. He's there as a legal expert. She doesn't understand the role that he's playing in the hearing to discuss the ins and outs of the legalities and so on. Democrat leftist Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin was there with no do-rag today, but fresh plugs. And Jamie Raskin and AOC were there to go after Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican congresswoman. We're going to need a new Congress.
Our colleague from Georgia has introduced before pornographic exhibits and displayed things that are really not suitable for children who might be watching.
Let's pause that for a sec because that's Congressman Raskin, of course. And at a previous hearing, when they were talking about Hunter Biden and his laptop, and the Democrats were still claiming that it wasn't Hunter Biden's laptop. Well, here are pictures of from the laptop that Hunter Biden took himself. There are selfies of him, or maybe his hookers took some of them. in a bathtub with a glass crack pipe in his mouth, the kind that his father is sending out to people across the country to facilitate more crack use and more fatal drug overdoses across the country. That will reduce our carbon footprint if you kill, lots and lots of people. And how many will die of drug overdoses during Joe Biden's presidency? Because right now the numbers are the same as the numbers we suffered during World War II, literally. More than 100,000 KIAs a year from fatal drug overdoses. But here they are. Oh, it's pornographic material. No, these are the pictures from Hunter Biden's laptop that you say is not Hunter Biden's laptop, and therefore nothing from the laptop can be trusted or believed. And you guys are lying Sacagawea, He's lying Sacagawea, she's lying Sacagawea. And so just completely absurd and outrageous. And Raskin, that rascal that he is. And then, you wouldn't want to see any pictures from Hunter Biden's laptop. That'd be pornographic, and children are watching your hearing, because that's what's happening. And, the Democrats, they held their fake hearings in prime time, and all the networks carried them. All the networks buried this one because they're front groups for the corrupt Democrat Party, which is coming for your children in very creepy ways. And by the way, aren't you the same people that are putting child porn, graphic child porn like gender queer in grammar schools and introducing this at kindergarten level? So it's rather ironic, Congressman Raskin, that you're condemning porn being put in front of children when what we're talking about is pictures posted by the president's son on his own laptop.
This might be hetero, though.
Well, yeah, that could be disturbing for them if it were heterosexual, because he had women prostitutes and the woman stripper and all that. So there might be. And then there's the picture of Hunter Biden naked with the pistol in his hand. And that's not the pistol that he was charged, he's facing federal charges for lying on a federal form when buying a firearm. And that firearm is a revolver, but in the pictures on his laptop, he has a semi-automatic pistol in his hand with the hammer pulled back and his finger on the trigger, and he's naked and drugged up, and there's, some prostitute or somebody in the room. But pay no attention to that. Raskin and AOC.
And bathing suits not suitable, Mr. Raskin?
Well, I'm saying I would
and
like
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I would like the member to be instructed to not introduce any pornography today, at least without running it.
A bathing suit is not pornography.
Well,
Mr.
we can't
Raskin.
see it from down there, so you didn't make it available to the minority before you started.
Seen it before. It's
Okay.
it's on the internet. It's everywhere.
You are submitting a naked woman's body.
This is a bathing suit. This is a bathing suit.
And it has not been clear before this committee.
Glasses on. Do you wear them or not?
I have contacts in. Thank you.
I have contacts in. Thank you. That was a little bee fest there. That's wow, snooty little God. What a country it is we're dealing with here. Thanks to the Democrat Party, amazing stuff. Yeah, and then the Democrats. I'll share with you the Democrats just lying and lying and lying. They are a circus. The Democrat Party is a circus. And the Republicans are doing a pretty good job trying to get to the truth, even though it takes forever and ever. But here we are. Hey, I've got breaking news. President Joe Biden has a plan to inflict a digital dollar in the United States of America, and it's already underway. It's very important to understand the potential consequences here because, notwithstanding the falsehoods they're telling us, this is not in our best interest by any stretch. And time is of the essence, so getting smart on the subject now to protect yourself and your financial future is a very good idea. You can help protect your savings and your family and your retirement from the calamity that is Joe Biden's digital dollar and the left by investing in gold and silver IRAs. You get started by calling the experts at American Alternative Assets. Call 888-4GOLD-20. That's 888-446-5320. They'll give you all the guidance and assistance you need on safeguarding your retirement savings. Say no to Joe Biden's diabolical digital dollar. Call 888-4GOLD-20, 888-446-5320. Individual results may vary. There is no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own legal, tax, investment, financial advice before opening an account. Yeah, I got more. Wait till you hear the border stuff. One Republican congressman who's being attacked for being down there, by the way, by Democrats, of course, because they're part of the drug cartels in Mexico that hang dead people under bridges by their feet. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Book by this July 31st for extra savings. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. All right, now the dim-witted, dastardly, and corrupt Democrats were also at the hearing, including Jamie the Pirate Raskin, and they're still pretending. I mean, it's O.J. Simpson standing over the dead bodies of his wife and Ron Goldman with the knife in his hand, drenched in their blood, with the cut through the glove and his Bruno Magli shoes tramping through the place. And they're still saying there's nothing to see here. Jamie Raskin.
If the Republicans had a smoking gun or even a dripping water pistol, they would be presenting it today, but they've got nothing on Joe Biden. All they can do is return to the thoroughly demolished lie that Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump launched 5 years ago, the Burisma conspiracy theory.
The thoroughly demolished lie is what they're calling. Now, we have the testimony of IRS, FBI, Ukrainian whistleblowers. We have the testimony of multiple Biden family LLC CEOs. We have the bank receipts, the suspicious activity reports from the Treasury Department. We have the more than $20 million, perhaps $24 million. And we still don't know what business they're in. And all of them say, well, the brand is the name Biden, and we're trading on the name Biden, and we're getting millions of dollars from around the world. Here is Democrat Congressman Jared Moskowitz.
As a former director of emergency management, I know a disaster when I see one.
Which has nothing to do with anything because, this is a private disaster. A radical extremist, anti-American, anti-capitalist named Democrat House member named Jasmine Crockett.
But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child.
Yeah. Well, that's loves his child unconditionally. He did shower with his daughter until she was like 30 or something like that, right? And then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, always a joy.
This is an embarrassment. An embarrassment to the time and people of this country. I would ask that the chair and I would ask that this committee elevate to the promise of our duties here.
Yeah, that's a thought. She uses the words, but she does not know what they mean. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Hey, voters out there, stop sending these morons to Washington, would you? I don't care. Vote Democrat. Just don't vote moron. Please, no more morons. Now, things being what they are, and the left being a ridiculous gang of violent criminals and liars, they love to lie. The Democrats in Congress lie. The Democrats on X lie. On CNN, the Democrats lie. They lie and they lie. And they're very angry with Elon Musk, who is an African American and an immigrant to the United States of America. And when he took away their Twitter toy, well, they still haven't recovered, have they? He's a free speech guy, and they are not free speech people. And they're very, very angry with him. Now, Elon Musk went to the border yesterday. He might solve the problem overnight, being Elon Musk. And believe it or not, controversy surrounded his visit, because Elon Musk showed up in like black jeans and a black T-shirt, and he wore a black cowboy hat. He's wearing a black cowboy hat, and he's got sunglasses on, too. He's wearing sunglasses, and he got a black cowboy hat. And he looks kind of like Billy Jack. He looks like, I think, Tom Laughlin. Was that his name? Billy Jack. And the left, they attacked him because that's what they do. I'm sure he has to have a serious security detail because the left is a violent, murderous gang of blood-drenched lunatics, and they love to destroy and kill. So they got on X, formerly known as Twitter, and they're going after him. He's such an idiot. He's wearing his cowboy hat backward. He's the richest man in the world, and he's such an idiot. And you're in your basement in your underwear in your mom's basement, sending out X posts that he's wearing his cowboy hat backward because Democrats are, and I honestly, I grew up in a Democrat household. The Democrat Party is dumber than it's ever been. It's amazing how dumb they are. Elon Musk had a glitch-ridden live stream at his border while wearing his cowboy hat backwards. And that's the radical left-wing extremists at Mediaite who are too dumb to honestly keep track of what day of the week it is. Elon Musk wanted to look like a cowboy during his visit to the border, but may have worn his hat backward. The headlines are all over the place. Then one outfit decided to do something radical and check after the left spread, millions of falsehoods. I glanced at it and I said, no, he's wearing it correctly. And I'm from Chicago. I didn't grow up wearing cowboy hats. But here is Insider Online. The internet is mocking Elon Musk for wearing his cowboy hat backward. Thank you for not saying backwards, but saying backward. The internet is mocking Elon Musk for wearing his cowboy hat backward, but a Stetson Pro says it's correct. Wait, you checked with Stetson, the world's most famous cowboy hat manufacturer? Elon Musk wore a cowboy hat when he visited Eagle Pass, Texas, which Joe Biden hasn't done, and Elon Musk hasn't done, and AOC hasn't done, and Democrats don't because it's too dangerous, It's like they're making the country much more dangerous. Several X users, and they didn't say formerly known as Twitter, and I appreciate that too at Insider. Several X users said that the billionaire was wearing it the wrong way around. A Stetson expert told Insider that the buckle on the hat shows Musk wore it correctly. But none of that matters, of course. They're going on and on, the idiots on the idiot internet with all the idiot Democrats. It's a cool black cowboy hat. Looks like a nice one. Why would he buy a cheap one? He's the richest man in the history of the world. And they got, and I love this, lefties, American comedian Dev Ram Stiefler. Has anybody ever heard of a comedian named Dev Ram Stiefler? And is that an American comedian, Dev Ram Stiefler? Joked in a post on X that Elon should invest in some sort of electric device that warns him if he puts a cowboy hat on backward when he's trying to look cool. Maybe you should find another line of work. That's pretty amazing stuff. But crazy as it sounds, the people at Insider, of all places, contacted the London director of Stetson because Stetson has big business in Europe, and they have a center in London. And they talked to Mark Harris, the London director of Stetson, who said, from the photos, it looks like Elon is wearing the hat the correct way. And he said the buckle is always worn on the left. And you can see in the photographs that the buckle is on the left. You can see that the hat is shaped correctly. The brim and the crown are shaped correctly on his head, that the hat is facing forward. I noticed that the buckle is on the left. I said this to Michael Piercy earlier before I read the Stetson guy, and there's the buckle on the left. But Democrats are such a gang of idiots who just can't wait to demonstrate their ignorance and to show everyone how little they know when they go off 1/4 cocked. It's not half cocked. They're not bright enough to go off half cocked. But there it is. Now let's go to Elon Musk at the border because this is pretty fun stuff. I got to say, and what's not to like about this guy? I don't even care. It's not like I agree with him on everything. He's not Jesus. He's a billionaire who does a lot of fun stuff, and it's kind of amazing because. because let's go first before we get to now. Let's go right to Elon Musk, and then we'll go back to the mayor of El Cajon because he's pretty good too. Let's go to soundbite number 19. Number 19. Elon Musk at the southern border, and he's talking to Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who's down there with him, and they're at the border, and it's a terrible, horrible place, and everything is going badly there. And the Democrats, and that means the media, are completely ignoring it because they're not on the side of truth, justice, and the American way. They despise America. They're here to destroy it, and they've secured a great deal of power. Congressman Tony Gonzalez, Republican, and Elon Musk at Eagle Pass, Texas, where thousands and thousands of illegals are flowing into the country, and the Democrats just complain if they show up in Manhattan because they have $30 million Fifth Avenue condominiums there, and they don't want co-ops, actually, so they can exclude people from moving in if they don't like the color of their eyes, let's say. So here is Elon Musk at the southern border yesterday talking to Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez.
As an immigrant to the United States, I'm extremely pro-immigrant, and I believe that we need a greatly expanded legal immigration system, and that we should let anyone in the country who is hardworking and honest and will be a contributor to the United States, we should have expedited legal approval for anyone who sort of falls in that category. But then by the same token, we should also not be allowing people in the country if they're breaking the law. That doesn't make sense. The law is there for a reason.
And that means every illegal alien that comes on expanded immigration for people that are qualified and go through the process and do it legally, as he did, because he's from South Africa, and Congressman Tony Gonzalez is there with him because he cares about America, and AOC doesn't, and Joe Biden doesn't. Joe Biden was in Arizona yesterday, and he didn't go to the border. He was there for several days. Didn't go to the border because he doesn't care about America. He was in California the other day, which is a border state, too, for Democrats following along. And he didn't go to the border because he doesn't care about America and he's not on our side. Elon Musk.
I think we want to do both things. Smooth out legal immigration and then stop sort of a flow of people that is of such magnitude that is actually leading to a collapse of social services, where even America's largest city, New York, is buckling under the pressure of just how many illegal immigrants are going to New York. If New York can't handle it, well, pretty much no part of the country can.
Now, smoothly, take care of the illegal immigration and, expand legal immigration for people that will benefit our culture and not be a drain on our culture. Just see the Democrats at the school district in Minnesota that put together a cartoon video that shows white people as blood-sucking mosquitoes who are sucking blood from people of color and insulting gay people and who else? People of color. Well, you can't do this. You're a person of color. You can't become an engineer. And the white people are then turned into mosquitoes who suck blood from the people of color. This is a training video for teachers and educators in Minnesota at a school district, which parallels Nazi Germany's demonization of the Jews as bloodsuckers, right? And the minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, who always called Jews bloodsuckers, it's paralleling Nazi Germany, along with the merger of state and corporate power. But pay no attention to that. Elon Musk and Congressman Tony Gonzalez.
In some cases, some pretty extreme individuals coming through.
Sure. Listen to this.
Suggesting everyone is like this, but you're talking about a guy who came through who had face tattoos, including tears.
Yes.
Tattooed on his face.
Yes.
The tear. When somebody tattoos a tear, it means that they have murdered someone.
Yeah.
And they are so proud of having murdered someone that they tattoo one tear on their face for every person that they kill. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, these are
and this
people,
person just claimed asylum.
And
we just let them in.
We let them in.
Most likely, if they were murdering people somewhere else and proud of it, they will continue in that tradition.
That's exactly right. And that's what people are scared. People in American citizens are scared. They just don't feel safe. They don't know who these people are. They don't want to assume, but they also don't want to not assume. They have children. It's a safety issue.
It's a safety issue. It's a national sovereignty issue. It's gangs and face tattoos. I think just as a rule, if you're sneaking across our border and you've got face tattoos, you should probably be kicked out right there just on GP. Now, let's go back to the mayor, to Mr. Mayor, the mayor of El Cajon, Texas. El Cajon, he's got cajones. So the mayor of El Cajon, Texas, Bill Wells, who was out there at the border also and talking about what's going on at our southern border since, Joe Biden doesn't care.
I was speaking to somebody at a think tank on immigration recently, and they told me there's a place in Venezuela called the Darien Pass. And that place usually sees about 10,000 migrants a year come through there. Last month, they said there were 85,000, and this month they expect almost 200,000. And they say many of those are going to be ending up on our border. So, yeah, we do expect it to get worse.
We do expect it to get, the plan we have is for it to get worse. He's the mayor of El Cajon, and he's a Republican, amazingly. And he's talking about how obviously everybody expects it to get worse. Now, he misspoke just a little bit. It's the Darien Gap, and it's actually in Colombia into Panama, but it is a main travel route for the huge numbers of illegal aliens that are flowing into the country, and usually see 10,000 in a year going through the Darien Gap. Now we're seeing 85,000 in a month.
Keep hearing this fantasy that this is going to be a good thing for us, that we've seen 7 million people come across the border since President Biden took office. I don't see how it's possibly going to be a good thing for us. Again, I talk to people on the Border Patrol who tell me about 90% of the people that are coming across the border are single military-age males. We don't know who they are. We don't know why they're here. We do know that they're from countries like Somalia and from the Middle East and from China and places that are avowed to be our enemies. So, as the mayor of a city, I can tell you I'm very nervous about the protection of my people that live in El Cajon because we don't know who's coming and we don't know what their intentions are. And I think that this could only be a recipe for disaster. And, if you think somehow this makes it better for our car washes and restaurants and hotels, it seems like a fantasy to me.
Seems like a fantasy to me. Somebody's telling the truth. Nothing gets you in trouble like the truth, because we know some people that hate the truth. And speaking of people that hate the truth, here's Joe Biden yesterday in Tempe, Arizona, where he did not visit the border. And there was let's skip the climate heckler for now. Let's get to the Joe Biden number 26 attacking Republicans. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. This is Joe Biden in his campaign ad in 2020, where he's Mr. Uniter and he's bringing us together.
It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric. We have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies. They are Americans.
Yeah, our harsh rhetoric. Time to put aside the harsh rhetoric. They're not our. They're our something. And then here's Joe Biden yesterday in Arizona not visiting the desert.
There's something dangerous
the border
in America now. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. The Maga Movement. Not every Republican, not even a majority of Republicans adhere to the MAGA extremist ideology. Their extreme agenda, if carried out, would fundamentally alter the institutions of American democracy as we know it. My friends, they're not hiding their attacks.
The MAGA extremist agenda, which will destroy our democracy, our republic. And then they went and looted the Walmart next door and overturned police cars and burned them. And then they shot a lot of people because they love shooting people. And I mentioned Bill Wells, mayor of El Cajon. I think I might have said Texas. It's El Cajon, California, of course. He's the mayor of El Cajon, California. He was at the border. And Bill Wells, and he's a Republican, and he's got some common sense. But it is the Darien Gap and not the Darien Pass. Never mind that. That's a minor detail in the scheme of things. But there's Joe Biden demonizing, they're not your enemies. And then this kind of earth-scorching rhetoric from the brain-damaged, waddling jellyfish of a Democrat president, demonizing everyone. Honestly, that's why his Secret Service code name is Jefferson Davis.
The Maga Movement. Their extreme agenda, if carried out, would fundamentally alter the institutions of American democracy as we know it.
And that's their job. They're the left. Kamala Harris was hanging out with an alleged rapper, allegedly known as Fat Joe. And she was cackling like a loon and hanging out with Fat Joe yesterday.
Joe, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since you were at my house a couple weeks ago for our hip-hop party.
Long time. Haven't seen you.
Weird.
It's Fat Joe. And then, of course, she started singing from the Joe Biden sheet music that, Republicans are going to destroy the world.
We are witnessing an intentional, full-on attack against hard-won freedoms and rights. And it is incumbent on us, then, to not passively sit by and let it happen, but to stand up and fight for what we know to be right and be true.
That is, it's really our hard-fought freedoms, and she has to be replaced so that Joe Biden can step down. They got to put somebody else in there, don't they? Oh, by the way, in Ukraine, we're sending $100 billion and more. The Day of the Dead is underway with the neo-Nazis, the Azov Brigade. They're having torchlight ceremonies, torchlight rallies all over Ukraine. We should send them another $1 billion or so. Also, the Biden administration has a plan to have the fewest offshore oil drilling leases in the history of the country, because that's good. Now let's go to another Democrat. We like to call her Meatball.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat.
She was arrested and charged with 6 felonies, and then she was released from jail, and she posted a video of herself. She's very distraught after a little time in jail.
I never been through nothing like that ever in my life. I don't even know what happened. Like, I need some sleep. I'm scared. I'm traumatized. Never again in my life.
She's going to run for office. I predict she's going to run for office. Also, I didn't have time to get to the woman that returned to the store that she shoplifted because she dropped her cell phone when she was looting the store, and her cell phone had her driver's license and her credit card tucked into the case. Every day's an IQ test.